Colleagues, it is my privilege and honor to sponsor for the consideration of this August Chamber House Bill number 14 entitled an Act requiring the registration of subscriber identity module cards, otherwise known as the SIM Card Registration Act.
Magandang hapon, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask the sponsor of this bill on mandatory SIM card registration kung meron ba tayong masasite na experience sa ibang bansa, given na nabanggit na majority ng mga bansa sa mundo ay merong mandatory SIM card registration. Are there positive experiences kung saan natigil nila or significantly ay napababa yung crime rates with the use of mandatory SIM card registration?
Yes, crimes are not only perpetuated using SIM cards, no? What we are concentrating here are crimes being perpetuated using SIM cards, no? So as to the question whether the crime rate in a certain country or the crime rate in the 157 countries where SIM card registration has been a law went down or not, would not reflect the effectivity of the SIM card registration or not, no? I think what we should focus here, Mr. Speaker, is that yung daily experience lang ng bawat isa sa atin dito, no? Daily experience ng bawat isa sa atin dito, siguro mas madami pa yung nakukuha nating mga text messages na phishing o smishing kaysa doon sa mga text messages ng kakilala nating mga tao, no? And makikita natin doon sa mga text messages na yon, kadalasan iniengganyo tayo na buksan ng isang link or minsan iniengganyo tayong mangutang. The problem is, hindi natin alam kung sino ang pinanggagalingan nitong mga text messages na ito.
We are now facing an alarming proliferation of text scams and frauds through the use of SMS messaging. They take various forms ranging from ridiculous winnings in raffles, which we have never participated in, to dangerous but fake warnings about problems with our bank accounts. Furthermore, in recent time, this trend has evolved into including our full names pertaining to an entirely new breach of our privacy vis-a-vis a serious leakage of our sensitive information intended to be private. With the responsible government agencies appearing to be helpless about these issues, we must find an appropriate solution. Mr. Speaker, my esteemed colleagues, we propose to deal with this challenge through this measure, the SIM Card Registration Act.
Mr. Speaker, kaisa ako ng ating sponsor na dapat ngang pigilan natin yung pagkalat nung mga text messages na nanilin lang, gusto lamang i-take advantage yung ating mga kababayan. Kahit nga ako ay nakakatanggap din ng ganong text messages. Mr. Speaker, gusto natin na kung meron tayong imumungkahi na ilang mga hakbang para mapigilan ito, dapat ay meron tayong katiyakan na ito ay magiging epektibo. Kaso, Mr. Speaker, yung na-cite kanina na organization, yung GMSA or GSMA to be correct.
So napakahalaga po na malaman kung sino ang pinanggagalingan ng mga text messages na to para malaman kung lehitimo itong mga mensaheng ito o hindi. Hindi naman natin pwedeng iwasan na makatanggap ng text messages. For example, pag bumili po tayo online, di ba po minsan nagpapadala ng one-time password? Di ba po? Pag hindi po natin pinigilan o hindi po nagkaroon ng SIM card registration, sa dami po ng transaksyon na ginagawa natin sa cellphone, hindi mo na malalaman kung alin dito yung totoo o hindi. So ito pong pagrehistro ng SIM card ay protection po sa lahat ng mga consumers na madalas po nabibiktima nitong mga scam na to. Dahil kadalasan ang sinasabi, pwede kang mangutang ng walang collateral. So syempre, i-click nila yung link na yun. No? So ito po ang layunin nitong text na ito. At wala pong datos na nagpapakita dahil ang crime nga, sinasabi ko, iba't ibang paraan. So hindi ito directly correlated sa crime rate dahil ito po ay isang portion lang ng kung paano nangyayari ang krimen sa isang bansa.
The bill seeks to require ownership registration of subscriber identity module SIM cards to eradicate mobile phone-aided scams. Quite simply, under this bill, we would be requiring that for every purchase of a SIM card, the end user or subscriber would provide his personal information, which includes his or her full name, date of birth, gender, his or her address, the assigned cell phone number of the SIM card, and its serial number. This representation understands that through this process, more questions of privacy might arise. But in this bill contains safeguards, specifically in the confidentiality provision that would create a safe environment for registration to take place. Notwithstanding the confidentiality provision, however, and the provisions of the Data Privacy Act, this measure provides that the public telecommunications entity shall be required to disclose the full name and address contained in the SIM card registration upon a duly issued subpoena or order of a court, upon finding of probable cause, or upon written request from a law enforcement agency in relation to an ongoing investigation that a particular number is used in the commission of a crime or that it was used as a means to commit an unlawful act. Mr. Speaker, my esteemed colleagues, these text scams have basically shaken or practically eroded our trust and confidence in electronic commerce and digital transactions. Regulating the purchase or sale of SIM cards, among other things, will put at rest the worries of our people that their information is being arbitrarily and maliciously shared with certain parties without approval. Esteemed colleagues, we are aware that there would always be new forms of digital crimes and fraud. The world of technology is a constantly evolving landscape, and we public servants must evolve with it. It is only through this dynamism that I'm sure this august chamber hopes to possess can we provide the relevant legislation to tackle such issues. We must highlight, however, that this act is not going to be a silver bullet against the ongoing scams that have proliferated in the last few months. This representation is confident that this will serve as a deterrent against unscrupulous people victimizing our fellow countrymen. The war against malicious forms of technology will be fought one battle at a time, and step by step, we shall emerge victorious. We shall win it because we, in the government, have the resolve and the political and moral responsibility as guardians of the people's welfare. Maraming salamat po at magandang hapon po sa
Team
inyo.
members of this House, good afternoon. There is no doubt that advancements in mobile communications have ushered in a new era of unprecedented connectivity by people around the globe. We can now just as easily call our loved ones anytime at any place in the world. Advancements in mobile technology have also facilitated governments to extend its services wherever their constituents may be in the country. The COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated the importance of mobile connectivity in contact tracing, delivery of financial aid, and information awareness. As any other technology, there are those with malicious intent who are quick to take advantage of these advancements. In the past months, I am sure that many of us have received spam text messages or unconsented marketing text messages and calls from unknown numbers in clear violation of our data privacy rights. While some of these may appear to be legitimate businesses, a huge number of these have been reported to be scams. In some instances, innocent individuals are lured into transferring huge amounts of money to individuals posing as a relative abroad, while in some cases, sensitive personal information is being extracted from victims for the purpose of identity theft. In extreme cases, even, SIM cards and mobile connectivity has also been utilized by terrorist groups aided in detonating explosives in civilian locations. It is with this in mind that I am honored to sponsor today House Bill number 14, an act requiring the registration of subscriber identity module cards, or the SIM Card Registration Act. This proposed measure will mandate Filipinos to register their SIM cards before their use and activation. It shall require anyone who buys a SIM card to register their name with the telecommunication companies prior to card activation, while 180 days are given to those who already own a SIM card to register with their name with the respective telecom providers. Failure to register would entail an automatic deactivation of the SIM card. These include text messaging scams, indecent messaging, bank fraud, disinformation, and terrorism. In a study made by GSM Association, a global organization of telco advocates, as of 2021, 157 countries enforce mandatory SIM card registration. This includes strong democracies such as Norway, Uruguay, Japan, Switzerland, Australia, Germany, Italy, France, South Korea, and Brazil. The Philippines is one of the select few remaining which have yet to implement a similar policy. In fact, it is one of only 2 nations left in Asia to have no SIM card registration law in effect, the other country being Israel. The bill will require anyone who buys a SIM card to register their name with the telecommunication companies. Mr. Speaker, each day without the safeguards from this measure makes our people vulnerable to rip-offs that take away their money and cause them anxiety. The onslaught of cyber crimes and fake news that tear away the fabric of our democracy. Jurisprudence is replete with examples clarifying the limits of our rights in cases of illicit acts or when public safety and order are at stake. Requiring the registration of SIM cards establishes the identity of users and makes them accountable for everything that they do with their number, and deters perpetrators from committing cyber crimes because they can no longer hide behind false identities. Because too many Filipinos are falling prey to these online and text scams. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, technology should make our lives better, and it is our duty to keep it so. I therefore urge all of our colleagues to join the authors of this bill, House Speaker Martin Romualdez, Representative Yeda Marie Romualdez, Representative Ferdinand Alexander Marcos, and this representation in securing the immediate passage of this measure. Maraming salamat po.